morning, BNI members. Welcome to the Visitor Day Support webinar. This is week 5 in our series. My name is Jenni Nering. I'm the Executive Director for the SoCal BNI region, which consists of the chapters that meet in Long Beach, South Bay, and Orange County. Thank you for joining me today on our Visitor Day Support webinar. As I mentioned, this is week 5 in the 7-week series. A couple quick housekeeping items as we get started today. I do have all of our participants in the listen only mode. However, if you have questions, please don't hesitate. Go ahead and type those in on the control panel of the webinar. I will get to them just as quickly as possible, and I will make sure that all of the questions are answered before we wrap up our webinar today. In addition, under the handout section of the control panel for the webinar, you'll see that I've uploaded a couple different handouts for you. Feel free to go ahead and download those. Those are the handouts that I'll be referencing today during our webinar. If for some reason you're unable to access those through the GoToWebinar handout section, these are also available in the document section of BNI Connect. And if you're still having a difficult time accessing them, feel free to send an email to info@socalbni.com. Once again, that's info@socalbni.com, and we will send you all of the handouts by email. These are also available in the workbook for the Visitor Day workshop. So lots of different ways you can gain access to the handouts that we discussed during these webinars. In addition, I need to let everyone know that today's webinar is being recorded. So having said that, if you happen to miss week 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the series, let us know so we can get you the recorded version, as we've been recording all of these within the series so that we can continue to provide you with support throughout the Visitor Day planning process. So today we are going to be focusing on where your chapters should be in week 5 of the preparation process for the Visitors Day. Remember that these webinars are in support and in conjunction with attendance at the Visitor Day workshop. These webinars are not intended to replace the information that we talk about at the workshop. This is really just to provide that additional level of support as you're actually going through the process. We realize that members will sometimes attend the workshop early on, prior to actually beginning the Visitor Day preparation process, and they'll need a reminder as they actually get going through the process. So that's really what these webinars are for. Everything that we do throughout the Visitor Day process and all things in BNI should really honor our BNI core values. And if you're having a difficult time identifying how the Visitor Day process fits into this, reach out to your director so that they can help you to get a better understanding of the why. It's important that, we're keeping all of these things in our vision as we're planning and preparing for our Visitors Days. During week 5 at your chapter meeting, your director will be out to give their keynote presentation. This is the keynote presentation that's specifically designed to help all of the members get prepared for the next week's big event. Typically, they'll take the entire keynote spot, so you only have one keynote presentation this week. And this is really to help get everybody clear on what the agenda will be, to review any of those final last-minute details. They'll also be asking for some volunteers to help step up and support the chapter during the week of the Visitors Day. This is not a closed meeting, so we encourage members to continue to invite and have visitors at the weekly meeting, even though the focus is on Visitors Day. This will help get everybody excited and prepared for the big event. The education coordinator during week 5 of the preparation process will be helping all of the members to prepare their great profitable introductions. At our Visitors Day next week, you're going to have a room full of new contacts. You want to make sure that you're using your profitable introduction time to really help get your message across and ask for that specific referral request. So in the handout section, you'll see that there's a worksheet for the education coordinator to use to help them during their presentation during week 5. Also during week 5, we've got our event coordinator, or sometimes this is the growth and retention coordinator, that will want to reinforce the importance of follow-up leading up to our event. Although our event is scheduled for next week, week 6, it's not too late to follow up. It's also not too late to continue to invite and spread the word about your Visitors Day. Since your director will be keynoting, it's likely that there won't be time during that portion of the meeting for the event coordinator to deliver this presentation. So typically during week 5, the event coordinator will take the growth and retention spot and use that time during the meeting to present the hard truths about follow-up, which is page 24 in your workbook. And they'll also review the second follow-up scripts, which is on page 23 of your workbook. In addition, they'll remind members of the final headcount deadline. Since our event's scheduled for week 6, next week of the process, they'll want to probably be getting that headcount in within the next couple days. But once again, encourage members to continue extending the invitation through social media, in person, email invites, and through BNI Connect. Week 5, our mentors will be busy this week preparing a plan for assigning all of our mentors to the new members that are added through the Visitor Day event. In addition, mentors should take time this week to reach out to all of the current mentees that they support and work with any of the members specifically that are having a difficult time getting their confirmations. It may not be that they don't have visitor confirmations, they just may not be clear on how to get them registered in BNI Connect. So mentors, you'll want to review that process with them. Offer any support that you have available to provide them with guidance, encouragement, and recommendations to help get those RSVPs, the visitors confirmed for the Visitors Day. Remember, it's really important that we help all members find success in their participation with the Visitor Day process. So mentors, don't keep yourself a secret during this week. You want to ramp up the support and guidance that you provide during week 5 so that all of the members can really feel good about their participation. Leadership team during week 5. So this would be our president, vice president, and secretary treasurer. You folks will want to look for any and all opportunity to give recognition to Visitor Day notable networkers. During the chapter meeting, through your president recap email, through social media, help celebrate the successes of the members that have really stepped up to make this event as successful as it's going to be. This recognition can be given to members that have participated in preparing their letters, the event coordinators that have gone above and beyond to make sure that the event's a success. Of course, those mentors have invested some extra time. So look for those opportunities to help celebrate and to build more excitement towards the Visitors Day. The membership committee will be following up with members that have not been able to participate in the event so far through their letters or follow-up phone calls. So membership committee, it's important that you don't just disregard these members or turn a cheek to them. You really want to engage with the members that have not participated so far to help them build that good, positive visibility and credibility within the chapter. So one of our participants has asked how long the director consultant keynote will be this week and how long the event coordinator should plan to have for the things needed to cover this week. The director keynote is typically about 12 minutes. In some cases, if the chapter has never done a Visitors Day before or it's been several years since they've done a Visitors Day, the director may want to coordinate in advance to take a few additional minutes. If the chapter historically has visitor days and there's that culture already built in within the group, 12 minutes is plenty of time for the director. And the event coordinator during this week their presentation is typically given during the growth and retention time rather than one of the keynote spots. And I would say 5 minutes tops. Some of these items are reminders and things that we've covered in the previous weeks. So 5 minutes tops for the event coordinator. Great question. Once again, if you do have questions, please feel free to type those in and I will address them as we go along. So during week 5, we've got our visitor host team busy preparing their visitor day name badges. Want to make sure that those are all prepared and ready to easily give out to the visitors as they're checking in. So visitor hosts will use the visitor registration report in BNI Connect to prepare their visitor name badges. Secretary treasurers should have already received the first time BNI visitor name badges if they placed the order as recommended during week 1 of the process. That way they can get those visitor name badges to the visitor host team. They can begin preparing them in advance. Also, if the chapter plans to provide any goodie bags or member business card packs, this would be the final week to get those prepared in order for the Visitors Day next week. Remember that that's not a requirement. However, we do not pass the business card box around during visitor days as it often gets stuck at one of the tables. It doesn't make its way all the way around the room. So we do recommend that chapters prepare for that in advance by collecting all of the chapter members' business cards and preparing them in one envelope or bag so that they can be distributed to each visitor either upon their arrival or at their spot, at their seat for the actual Visitors Day. The follow-up email this week will be the Visitor Day support email, and this Visitor Day support email should be actually sent by the event coordinator, and it should be a reminder of the various job assignments that either visitor members volunteered for or were assigned during the director keynote. There's a sample of what the director will be covering during week 5 in their keynote on page 32 of the Visitor Day handbook. And the event coordinator will send out an email that basically just outlines what everybody's role and responsibility will be at the actual Visitors Day next week. This is the time of our webinar where we're going to open it up to any questions that you may have in addition to the questions that were already asked. So if you have questions, please feel free to type them in. I want to make sure we get all of those addressed before we wrap up today. We've only got 2 more webinars in this particular series. We've got our week 6, which will be the preparation and the actual day of support. And then we've got week 7 and 8, which is combined into one webinar. If you've missed it in any of the previous weeks, once again, send us a quick email at info@socalbni.com and we'll get you the support material and the webinar material, the recorded webinar, sent out to you right away. All right, one of our participants is asking if it's too late to get a visitor's day on the books. And the answer to that is no. We do visitor days all year long. However, if your chapter has the goal of putting on a visitor's day during the World Series Chapter Challenge, space is limited, and I would encourage you to get those dates sent into the regional office right away so that we can try to accommodate any requests during the 15-week chapter challenge. We want to make sure that we've got the right support, the directors lined up to help provide you with the guidance and support necessary. We also want to make sure that we've got enough time to get your chapter members participating in one of the Visitor Day workshops so that they can understand the process thoroughly and find greater success. Any other questions before we wrap up? Well, it looks like that's all of the questions that we have today. So once again, I'd like to thank you for your participation in the webinar. We look forward to being part of your Visitors Day and helping you to have a terrific event. This is the last week leading up to your big Visitors Day next week. We look forward to it being a great success. And remember that your future is bright in BNI.